QPR, QPR, Queen's Park Rangers are on the up and up. QPR, QPR, now we're heading for European Cup.
Hello and welcome to the QPR podcast. This week is a very special episode indeed. I'm David Fraser and I'm joined by the three other founders of the QPR podcast. We have Paul Finney,
all right,
Chris Charles,
hello,
and Chris Mendes.
Good evening.
But as I said in the introduction, this is very special as 5 years in we are celebrating our 200th episode. Which is a QPR analogy, by the way, makes us Ian Dawes. Because he made apparently 208 appearances for us, so that's who we are. But this special episode means this is a pod with a difference. First of all, we have a very special audience with us because we're joined by a number of representatives from fan sites. We've got a Kick Up the R's, Not 606 QPR, QPR Report, .org, Loft for Words, and probably one site that I've probably forgotten to mention. But we thank them for coming, and we're in a special setting. We're at Loftus Road, which we've never done before. But more important than that, we have a very special guest with us, because agreeing to join us for our anniversary is none other than the manager of Queen's Park Rangers, Ian Holloway.
Hello, chaps.
Thank
Why
you.
are you clapping? Come on, let's just get down to the nitty-gritty of questions.
Fine.
A few weeks.
Yeah.
Well, fine.
I'm going to get a few weeks, am I? Let's wait and see what happens Thursday.
First question
Yeah,
is, how does it feel to be back?
Very surreal, I must admit. You come in here and makes me feel very proud of where the club is now. I remember every day of the troubles and the tribulations that I had and I went through, and the club had and went through, and all of us must have horrible, dark days about how great the place is and how bad it was going. And I think the worst for me was we're going to merge with, I think it was MK Dons or Wimbledon. How can we merge? That's just wrong. I went mad. The cave was mentioned, and you know, all those days I've thought about everything. I remember every single minute of it, and just to walk up the training ground, just to come here again is just so special. I'm so proud of where we are, and I've got an opportunity to try and help us play in a way that creates an identity that we all want. I know you want it, and I want it, so I can't tell you.
You say we, and now you're known as a very passionate man, obviously, and very committed to all the clubs that you've been with. But it strikes me that QPR really does mean a lot to you. I know all your clubs do, but QPR really does.
You're highly honoured to be asked to be a manager of any football club, but to have played somewhere and played in such a fantastic team was a special honour, particularly at my age, and really down to absolute legend of mine, which is Jerry Francis. For him to have brought me here at 29 and all the players, the array of talent we had everywhere, it was just unbelievable. So, and to finish fifth in the table at the time, top London club is, you know, it's probably hard for a lot of young lads to think of at the minute, the way the game's gone. But, you know, 10 years of your life is an awful commitment, and it's something I'm very, very proud of that no one will ever take away from me, you know, and what is life about, I'm not sure. I just want to be remembered for trying to help, and what a privilege it is to try and help this football club. And, you know, my daughters actually have never been the same since I left. I was placed on garden leave. They thought that Dad was QPR. I owned it. Do you know what I mean? They actually thought that it was mine. So they've never quite been the same with any other football club, and they hardly have ever watched.
Are they QPR fans?
Absolutely. They stopped following football after I left here.
So they're back following QPR now?
Yeah.
Excellent. I was going to say, how hard is it to take over a team that essentially someone else has built and try and hit the ground running?
Yeah, that's the difficult thing. You know, it's all, you have a plan of what you want to do, and how you're going to try and do it. And luckily I've got a fair few games under my belt now, and 19 years of doing this. And really, what you have to do is assess who you got first. Look at their talents. I've never been the sort of person to say, I didn't sign these, they're not mine, I want these. I've never been in a situation, and we're certainly not in that situation, and it's not right for this football club to be like that. So, you know, I've been asked to come in, assess who I've got, try and help them, try and play a way that the fans would like, and try and win matches, and try and build a way and an identity of what this club means. So, you know, at the end of the day, I've come to a fantastic conclusion in my own head and with my staff of where I want to go. I told the lads that this morning. I haven't seen them, all of them. Some were on international duty, some were injured, some I hadn't seen play, you know. So what I did last week, well, I took the more foreign-speaking ones out of the team to get a bit of togetherness if I can, place some of them on the bench. And I've had a chance to see that now. And I told them this morning, this is where I think we could do this. This is what we're going to do. In the meantime, I was trying to get them alive and thinking and moving and passing and you know, like I've done before, but that was with a different team. You know, that was at Blackpool. So I haven't got the same qualities that I had there, running, power in certain areas. I've got some wonderful footballers and really have. So I've got to try and find a way to get them in the team to actually enhance what they can do, and I want to try and make them shine, you know. And I don't care where they've come from, I don't care what they cost. That's not how you judge someone. It's where they want to be and where they want to get at the end of the day. And I think that's this football club, you know. Even our best ever player, in my opinion, who I was lucky enough to play with, who was Les, actually came from Hayes and Yedding. So I mean, what are we all about? That's what it's all about. So please don't judge someone. And if they don't hit the ground running yet, let's have a little look. Let's see if I can get them going and find a way to make them feel part of what this is all about. You know, there's no other atmosphere, I don't feel, like this, because it's so on you, it's so close, it's so... And when it's full and when it's rocking, wow, you know? And it's intimidating then for the opposition. So that's what we want to try and make it. But on the flip side of that, if we don't give you what you want, sometimes it can be really tough. Ringing in my ears, come on, Holloway, you nugget, give it to Wilkins, what's wrong with you? That was probably that's probably the first 3 years, and it might have been the rest of the time. Do you know what I mean? But you have to understand that we need certain people who can play the piano, but we also need other people who put it on stage, otherwise you can't play. So you need different types, and you know, I'm delighted with who we've got, and I can't wait to try and get repetitive things happening that they do naturally, and then all of a sudden you'll see what we might have here. You know,
you mentioned working with the group you've got, and you're happy with people you do have. We all loved the end of the mannequin challenge video. You writing on the whiteboard.
I know you would, yeah.
If you had to choose one position that you're most eager to strengthen in January, what would it be?
No, we really need to get our goals column up and flying. And I believe we can do that with the talent we got here. I do believe I will get them wanting to move and get in the box and get bodies in the box and get your structure behind it, because it's your structure that works to get you. And my teams, after even with here, I got lots of people scoring, different people scoring, you know, even in open play, centre halves were scoring. You know, so my lads know that, and they want to try and do that. So it's all about goals. It really is in this championship. The teams that do it, they get there because they have strikers who score. And that's the difference at the end. When we did it last time, Bobby Zamora, what a finish. We weren't even in the game. And Bobby Zamora, out of nowhere, right? Fantastic tackle by Junior Hoylett. They had a throw-in, they were sloppy, they almost thought we were going to beat you, Derby, and bang, bang, cross, bang. End the story. All over. And that's the difference. You know, that is the difference. So, what can I say? I've only just started. I got some strikers. I've only picked 2 of them. I put Silla on Saturday. I got to get him moving. You know, he scored a great goal the other week away at Notts Forest. So it's all I can say is Rome wasn't built in a day, and to actually get people to move together is not an easy feat, but it's one that I know some methods that I believe they will enjoy doing, and they will get very, very quickly.
What I was going to say to you was, without breaking it down, which is not my normal job to press everyone, but when you came to QPR, we talked about it earlier on. This friend against Celtic, we didn't have any players, and you took it from there to a playoff final to promotion at Hillsborough. So without going into too much detail, when you left the club, how did you feel at that point after everything that you achieved at QPR? Was it a bad taste?
Oh, I was so angry. My team were angry. I was angry. I just felt betrayed, really, not by the supporters, but with certain people who were at it in for me right from when I got us promoted again. I think with the changeover, I didn't stand a chance. They wanted to bring their own man in there. There was rumours that he was in the terminal building, and my players used to laugh and joke about it, you know, and they used to absolutely hammer Gianni about it. And then, you know, we won 7 in a row because my players wanted to fight for me. You know, and at the end of the day, we had a period of feeling we were a big club that's not famous anymore. And really, that's exactly how it was. We were the first team to actually be run in a way that we couldn't afford. You know, and it had to change. Jerry knew it. Luckily, I was here and I took all of that and we built and we built and we built and I put them back where they were. One place different. Jerry got them 10th, I got us 11th on 2.8 million instead of 5.6. And the biggest laugh is people think, you know, oh, I remember a wonderful talk that Ian did, and he mentioned a cup of coffee and a taxi, and you know that is, you're talking serious business there of remotivating people and having no staff and having to get rid of a load of lads and tell them your 5-year deal is only worth 25%. That's all we can afford. And if you don't do that, the club will go bust. And we would have gone out of business. And that's why that change at the end of that season, when Kenny Jackett left, he only left because I couldn't get him a new deal. And he said, Ollie. So I went and asked. I said, look, whatever happens here, fantastic fella, came when we were in the mire, and he deserves a new contract. Can you? Oh, sorry, we can't. So he said, Ollie, I'm going to have to go. I've got a job at Swansea, and I'm going to have to go now. There was only 6 games left. Right? But even then, we lost away at Plymouth. I got tons of abuse from one fella on my phone, and I used that to get the boys to win the next 2 games, and we still got automatic promotion, beating Bristol City by 1 point. So, you know, what more do we want? You know, what more can we think about and talk about? And it's the history. You can't ever take that away from someone. It's etched in you. You know, and I have to make sure that these lads understand where they are now.
Well,
do you know what I mean? And who you're playing for. And do you know what? What's so pleasing for me is they do. Right? They really do. And that's absolutely the work that's happened at this football club to make sure those lads on that training ground are giving me what they're giving me is absolutely fantastic. And for that, I have to give Les credit, Jimmy credit, the whole staff credit, and I want to try and thank them for that and embrace the opportunity. So, wow, what an opportunity I've got to try and get us to do better. We won't spend like we've spent here before, because that'll put the whole thing in danger. Why should we anyway? Why should we get someone who's already thrown lots of money at it to actually buy us some happiness? We should be part of that. We should come here every week, put up with it, help these young lads, hopefully from in the area, to get in the team and be proud. And then if we got to sell them because they grow quicker than us, then great. But if we're lucky enough to get enough of them to help us get there, wow, what a way to do it. And I don't want to just get there, I want to stay there.
So
I've got one more achievement to do in my life. I've got 2 teams there. I nearly kept the first one there. After 8 games of the second one, I got rid of. I didn't want to be there anymore. He didn't want me to be there. So there you go. And I never felt the same after that. That's my problem.
I'm not asking for much. I just want to get the Premier League, beat Chelsea every time, and win the FA Cup.
In that order?
Whatever way you feel necessary.
What about the Champions League? You don't want that?
It's a bit of a
too commercial for him.
What you're saying, you're not going to pay for the flights to go and watch us. That's what it is.
That team from 10 years ago, the thing as you're talking that sticks out at me is you talk about the players understood where they were. There was almost a QPR core running through it with Mark Bircham and Kevin Gallen and Lee Cook around that period, and even a few local players, people that came from the area like Martin Rowland. Yeah. How important do you think that was to that success, and is that something that you think could be important for this team now?
Well, for me, that was vital. We brought in people who cared. I think Steve Palmer we need to mention. I think Chris Day, the goalkeeper, we need to mention that wonderful save when Furs stuck that goal in, to get us to win, and we still didn't do it, But it was all about people, and that's what, unfortunately, footballers these days forget that. It's about the person you are. You have to recruit the right type of person first. End of. And that's what I feel we've done. I feel genuinely about the lads and who they are and the improvement I believe they can make. And getting some of them young ones in. It's absolutely vital to get, particularly here, someone who you believe in and belongs to you. Do you know what I mean? It really is absolutely vital because you want to see that, don't you? And I feel that's the way the club was going. That's Les's dream. That's what he wants. He wants to give people an opportunity to come here and play and flourish like he did. And no matter where he went and no matter what he did, you ask him which one he loves the most. And I could tell you. So, and he's guiding the owners. And every owner needs guiding. But they need to be guided the right way, with honesty, with truth. And no one gets everything right. So we can't get every player right, but, we can get their character right. They might not play that well, or they might not do what we need them to do. We might not be the most expensive here or we've ever had before, but, we have a duty to make sure we bring people in who care about the situation and the club. So that's what I did back then,
You mentioned the serious side of what you did back then, keeping QPR at a respectable place, even with half the budget. We had a question from a fan today on Twitter, Jim Froling. He says, do you think the media, they portray you in a certain way sometimes, because you're a fun guy, come out with nice quotes. Do you think they do you a disservice sometimes by the way they portray you, because people don't see the other side of what you do?
My players do. And they're the ones who see the real me, and they're the ones who experience the real me. And that's my fault. I courted that, and I courted that at first because I was trying to protect one of my own, Clark Carlisle. I said something to my couple of young lads who need to just look around. Today, I saw them play yesterday, first time I've seen them, and they were positionally wrong because they were watching the ball. They didn't look left, they didn't look right. So I said something that's different because they'll never forget that now. So I just said, check for burglars. Look left. Imagine you're in your mum's house. Look left, look right. But they're never going to forget that. Yeah. And today they were out there. And they were moving the ball and they were shouting burglar, burglar. But more importantly, they were doing what's right. Yeah. And to get someone to do Premier League habits is possible if they weren't Premier League players before. And that's what everybody forgets. So now, in this instant world of instant coffee, football, pour it in, there it is, where's my team? Do you know what I mean? Where's my team? I've spent all of that money, where's my team? Where's the improving of people? You know, and where's them learning? And I'd like to tell all the ones who aren't quite as serious or think I'm not quite as serious, ask the players that I have helped. How they are now, how they think now, where they are now. And we'll see. That's what being in my position is. It's a teacher. Yeah? So, and you have to find ways as a teacher to make people listen. And now, the people I'm talking to are very different to the people I started talking to 19, nearly 20 years ago. The game has moved on, life has moved on, and it's a multi-billion pound product that we're not even in control of, is there, and it's pure, wonderful viewing. And it's all around the world, and whatever you do is on there. So I accept that. I can't change that. And to be honest, I don't care. All I care about is what I'm trying to produce on that field. And I want it to ring of what I believe. And that's all you can do. And have I missed that? Yes, I have. I've been watching everybody else's creation. And now I want to try and create. And I'm in a much better place now with what I've learned from going bad, from going well, right? From what I've learned to actually apply that here. That's how I feel.
So since you come in, has the slate been wiped clean? Because obviously Sandro is now sort of making a couple of appearances from the bench. In terms of the lone players, like you've got Doughty, you've got Furlong, you've got Jet, who's banging in the goals for Gillingham. Is there any chance that they might make a reappearance at some stage?
There's every single chance of me looking at every single player and then having a chance to say, can I work with him? Can I improve him? Is he going to fit in? Is he going to help us get up this table? Yeah, there's every chance. And that's what I was brought in and asked to do. So, absolutely.
What's your vision for QPR and what you want to achieve in this job?
My long-term vision is to get into the Premier League and stay there. As a manager, as a coach, and to build a club from top to bottom. And I got one that's almost ready and in a great situation to actually do that. So, wow. Just tools to help me now are so different than when I first started. Do you know what I mean? There was 3 of us at Blackpool. I had to get a kid from university who cost me nothing to do the analytical stuff. And then at the end of the first season, he did so well. I said to Carlos, and we got just get another one. Get another free one. That was a good idea. I went, I don't want to lose this boy. So anyway, it was tough. You should see what we've got. Wow. When I went in at Palace, Dougie took 6 members of that group. I've just got one of them back who's going to work for us. We've just lost one of our group. He's gone to Aston Villa. Good luck to him. But I've got Vinny who's come in. And wow, what they do for us now is unbelievable. Absolutely unreal.
Sorry, were you saying when you were managing Blackpool in the Premier League,
yeah,
you used the free work experience from the local university?
Yeah.
Have you been reading the headlines about Blackpool?
Yeah.
No, but we were clever. And there's nothing wrong with the Blackpool owner, in my opinion. He never told me a lie. He never said one thing and then went and did something else. Right? And he was part of our success then. And you've got to be very careful in life, whereas your biggest strength can also become your biggest weakness. Yeah? My emotion that I give things is also my weakness. You will not see me screaming at referees now. I promise you. Right? Because I have seen, in the last 18 months, I have been asked to look at things, and I haven't seen not one, since I've been impartial. I haven't seen one situation where I think a referee has deliberately gone against a team. And I thought it was all the time. Because I'd shouted at them in the past, they don't like us, Ask her. unbelievable. You're wasting your time. My dad used to tell me you're wasting your time. But so I'm not going to waste my energy on that. I'm just going to see what happens. And if it's bad, we'll deal with it. And we'll look at what's happened. And we won't blame. We'll just show. We'll educate. Like I was educated by Mr. Francis. Sir Jerry.
It's got a good ring to it.
And in my opinion, he taught me how to improve. He taught me about things. Now, these lads, that's what they're going to get. So, you know, what more can I offer you apart from... And you never know how long things are going to last, do you? Because, as I said before, everything's instant. And in the Championship, it's just the worst of the worst all the time. But for me, I tried to help Chris Wright, if you remember. I didn't want any of us shouting at him. I didn't think it was fair that he was losing £100,000 a week trying to get us a good team. And when Jerry sat me down in front of him and I wanted to buy Marlon Harewood, and the figure we got was £600,000 all those years ago, I believed he would be a sellable asset for us. He asked his money man, how much is that painting worth? He said it's 800,000, Chris, and you're not doing it. That's what he said. And how was he pillared by us? How badly was that? How can that be? And his sister, when I left, actually thanked me personally for trying to stick up for her brother. Now, I was only sticking up for what I felt was right, and I actually was brave enough to tell you lot that ain't right.
You mentioned Jerry. Have you spoken to him since coming back to the club? Any chance that he'll come back?
I've talked to him. I've missed him, and he's just had a bereavement in his family. So he's in a bad place at the minute. His wife's lost her mother, and so I've left him a message, and he said he'll get back to me in the next week or so. As for anything else, he's working for Tony Pulis, who's a great mate of mine, and if I was going to do anything like that, I'd talk to Tony first. So it's a little bit premature, that, but listen, he's always been there for me, and I can talk to him at any time if I can hook up with him, you know. But at the moment, it's been very difficult because of the situation.
Well, on that, in a general sense, Mark Bircham back in the club, and as we're talking, quite a few of the you talk about having to build your backroom staff after a few of them left, and Kenny Jackett's now available. There's we talk about Jerry Francis, Steve Gallen's now back in the country. Any chance of getting the band back together?
If you want, you asking me to answer each name you've thrown at me there?
I'm talking generally about it coincides with a period where a lot of your backroom staff from that time are around, and you're looking to build your backroom staff now. How important would that be to bring some of them back into the club?
I think what's important is first assessing what I've actually got, and I've got so many staff. It's fantastic, you know. So, and from being at Sky, it's so imperative that you have a structure and you have a line of management to somebody who oversees things and goes bang, 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 and then you're efficient. Too many times in football and the clubs, you get 2 or 3 people who are doing 3 or 4 jobs each, and then they might think they do it well and they've been there a long time, but you're not efficient, you know. Whereas Sky, because they're incredibly efficient and incredibly well run, right down to the fact of a director and a producer. Right? So I'm the producer, Les is the director, and we have to work so closely together. So it would be unfair of me to actually do anything. I went into Blackpool and I inherited the staff. Right? I inherited them. Wow. How well did we work? So they were already there. And I've got to assess whoever I've got here at the moment. So I'm into it. I'm doing whatever I'm doing. I'm getting my staff ready to go. I'm trying to love the lads up, and here we go. And hopefully we'll get that same feeling here, no matter what the score was Saturday, no matter what was the first. We almost threw that away with only 10 men, you know. But that's how vulnerable we seem to be at the moment. But we got to forget about the score, just get to the process. And I might need someone else to help me in that process. But in fairness, one of them, Kenny, he's a fully fledged manager. I would be insulting him unless I was at Man United to say, come and be my assistant. How dare I? You know, it's wrong, isn't it? He is a fully fledged manager, and once you've been bitten in the neck, that's it. You don't want to go back to being an assistant. You know, so let's get that straight. You know, that would be a massive insult if I actually asked Ken. You know, and with my blessing, he went on and was a very good manager, and is a very good manager right now.
Just going back to the weekend, can I just ask how the players have reacted to that defeat at Ipswich? By all accounts, it wasn't what you'd expect a 3-0 scoreline to be. I mean, it could have gone either way. And how do you deal with it? Is it like the old throwing teacups or arms around shoulders, bit of both?
No, listen, I'm still finding out about... You're trying to get a mentality. You're trying to build a group who will come through adversity. And boy, we know about that, don't we? So, you know, at the end of the day, you have to give them something to believe in. And one mistake took away the process that we were doing. Football's all about restarts. If you think about it logically, how many goals are scored in open play? How many restarts are there in a throwing for, throwing against? God, we made so many terrible choices. The substitutes went in a totally wrong area if we put the ball where we put it, and made it easy for them. So as a group, the decisions I spoke about, I don't want that to happen again. Right? There was some bad habits of, why didn't you put it there? Well, hang on, we all got to know why we put it there. If we got 4 men up, that's where it should go. And then we scrap from them. You don't throw it back here and that 4 stay up there. And you've actually caused yourself a disadvantage because they just pressed. It didn't hurt their back 4. What are we doing? We're behind. So there is things I can actually show them, but I actually put them on expecting to know that with the experience we had. And listen, it's nobody's fault. Things happen that way, and all I can deal with is what I saw after. So that is forgetting the process. If you're a tennis player and you love 40, we start to think about the love 40. We couldn't even hit the next serve. Now we've got to solve that ourselves. It's not a lack of confidence, it's not. That's what someone said today. My boys are very confident in their ability, but they have to be confident in what you're asking them to do with their ability to make it shine. Right? Connor Washington, I believe, can score goals. I really do. Yeah? I don't think he's very good at tracking back because that in his natural game. So if you come from Peterborough and you're trying to earn your stripes here, or your hoops here, I should say, then how difficult is it to learn a different thing? That's nobody's fault. Yeah. That's what Jimmy wanted to do because he can play that left, he can do that and cut in on his right foot, he can. But I don't see it that way now. I see me getting the best out of him by playing him in an area where I think he's naturally doing what he naturally knows, and I'll play someone else in the other area who knows that a bit better, so we ain't got to waste time concentrating on trying to teach him that when he can just go and wear that shirt and go bang.
So it's round pegs in round holes, in other words.
That's what I'm trying to get, and the overall, when you pick up something, isn't as sweet and as clear as I had at Blackpool. When I went to Blackpool, I had some money left to get things. And I knew what I had and I knew how I wanted to play, and I brought the bits that I needed. And I didn't call them in by name. I wrote them down as to what they did for me. And every day I kept saying to them, we're going to do Premier League things and we're going to get the Premier League and my chickens can do it, and if you can't do it, I'm going to bring one of them up. And they thought it was funny. But at the end of the day, one of them said, I don't know where to run, Gaffer. I said, Brett, can you run? He said, yeah. I said, well, just run, and wherever you run from, someone will fill that gap. And I said, by the end of it, you'll know exactly when to run and what to do because you're a fantastic player. But don't just stand there and go, what shall I do? Right? But by the end of it, that's all I'm trying to say. I've got to try and do that. And if we need some tinkering, right, then great. We might have to try and do that. But I'm fully aware that I need to win enough games to get that going here for us to actually ask for a bit more money. Wow. You got to be kidding, haven't you? Seriously, you know, you can't... Mr. Abramovich and all of that, you can buy success. I don't think so. It might help, but I don't think so. You can't buy a spirit. You can't buy a feeling. You can't. You might buy someone's best player, but you can't guarantee that that fella's going to play that well. You got to build it. Right? You have. And that's what I want to do. And that takes time. And I've told them that. And if they don't want to give me that time, what more can I do? All I can do is give you the honesty that I've always gave you and say, tell you what, you want them to spend a bit more money and have a go at them, then don't talk to me about it. Because that ain't fair, that ain't right. They've had a right go, and now I believe they're trying to do it the right way. So I am here for the right reasons. I don't need anything else. I just want to do it, and I want to help the people get back to where I've been before in the way that I did it. It might be a different way, it might be a new way, but it's our identity that I want our club to be proud of, the way we're playing. And at Blackpool, I had my first team playing that way, my reserves playing that way, my youth team playing that way, and it was an absolute joy to watch at times. We didn't win all the time. When we fought with the big boys, we missed out by 1 point. No one else has ever got relegated on 39 points. Just lucky Ollie. Or unlucky Ollie.
But going back a wee bit to as days were before, like the Oldham semi-final and stuff, do you think there is a different atmosphere at Rangers these days to what it was like then? Because we didn't have anything. We were kind of like, we became this trendy club that we're kind of going through. Like, it was just fighting so much and fighting so hard for everything. Every bit of ground we had, we fought massively for. Is that what you hope to install now?
Don't talk to me about a trendy club.
We were.
For me,
lovely.
London's trendy.
You're looking pretty good yourself.
No, London's trendy. Our club, for me, it ain't about being trendy. We have some skill and ability, and you've all loved that. But it's about actually playing in a modern way that will be exciting, because I have to try and get you happy to pay your money. Right? We lost at Blackpool, and people were still singing. I'm telling you now, this is the best trip we've ever been on, because they enjoyed what they were paying to watch. Now I want to try and do that. And I know I'm in London, and I know a load of them will just win. And I've got to find a way to have longevity to win. But it's how you win, and it's how you lose that's important. You should be able to win and lose with the same pride in your performance and go away happy of paying your money. Right? Last Saturday, I didn't feel happy because of the end of it. I didn't feel that happy at the end of our other win. You know? So I'm going to try and help us be happy when we leave the ground, whatever.
This is a question that has come up on our podcast quite a lot. Does it come from the fans, or does it come from the players? Or is it a bit of both?
It's absolutely a bit of both. And I'm telling you, when you look at who we've bought, who we've got, what we've paid, and I'm going to shock you now, when we bought Connor Washington, the price tag alone put pressure on the boy. Mm. Right? You were expecting a finished Oracle. He's nowhere near finished. He was only just started. He'd only just started scoring, but he cost us $2.5 million. Now, for me, that's a hell of an investment. And I'm very proud that we've done that. But my job's to help him. Your job's to help him. Your job's not to expect. Do you see what I mean? I remember having an argument, asking someone to come and take me on in my garden, because they were having a go at Paul Furlong, because he used to play for Chelsea and he'd missed 2 chances. Right? That's the truth. Because I wanted you to support him, and he was worried, he was scared of getting injured, because that's what he was used to, so he was holding himself back in training, and I made him train harder, pull that elastic harder than it is on a Saturday, and he regained some belief in himself. And after that, after my little mate Gary Penrose came up and helped him one day, said, "Oh, what you good at, son?" He went, "Oh, missing." So he said, "I'm only coming up to help you." So he put a post outside the goal post. He said, "Hit that, cross it, Ollie." Crossed it, he hit it, bang on, right in the gap. And the other side, "Can you edit?" He went bang, bang. He said, "Well, just realign your focus. You're good at missing." So I'd say I'm good at scoring. And he went in. And he had a 1 in 3 goal get after that. Sometimes it's just a little drop of genius of someone who's been through things. So, I don't know what you want me to promise you. I can't. I'm going to promise you every day I'm going to take that little shiny whistle out of the box and try and polish it. And I'm going to put it back in and I'm going to put it on there. And on the side of it is QPR, right? Because that's what it feels like to me. And I want my players to feel that way. And there's no limit to what I believe we can achieve, right? There is no limit that I actually believe we can achieve. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you're asking me when, it's irrelevant. We're going to get there. It's baby steps to get there. So, where some of the other ones are at the minute, wow, that's a hell of a thing of catching, isn't it? If you're talking about Newcastle, look at the setup at Brighton and where they're going, wow, well done to them. But we ain't that far off, right? What I'm saying is, where's our scouting network? Who is it? Where are we running it? I got loads to feel. It's all about your recruitment. Where are you going? What are we doing? Hang on a minute. And I can't wait to help Les set all of that up. And then hopefully it'll be a conveyor belt of talent and players, and here we go.
Ollie, one of the players you've inherited is Mas Longo. Got a stat from Clive Whittingham from Loft the Words on Twitter. This season, when Mas has played, we've averaged 1.72 points, but only 0.6 when he hasn't played. How good do you think he can become, and what are your first impressions of him?
Well, my first impression is I brought him off the other day when we were 2-0 up against 10 men because I wanted to see what else we got. I brought him off because he was so good. That might sound weird. I want to see what we're like without him. And I saw. And then I wish I hadn't. And then last Saturday, he was sick. He was violently sick, and we couldn't have him in case everybody else got it. And I felt we missed him. That's no disrespect to who went in. No disrespect at all. But that little fella is so me. Tick, 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 here we go, tick, 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 here we go. But where'd you play him? Where'd you play him? Did you play him in the same spot as Sharon Cherry? Tick, 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 here we go. Hang on a minute. How many of them have we got? Yeah. How can you get all of them in your team? So what I'm saying is, wow, it's all right avenue. We got to fit, they got to work. So, it's really exciting what we've got to work with. And he's not only that, he's a fantastic lad. Honestly, he is a fantastic lad. I saw a load of him at Swindon when I was living in Bristol and seeing that. And Ben Gladwin as well, by the way. He got some unbelievable ability on his feet. You just got to get him to believe that he can do it here. And I had that myself, If it weren't for Ray Wilkins, I'm not so sure I'd have actually come through certain things. He kept shouting at me, "You're better than you think. Come on, you're better than you think. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. Come on," and because the arena sometimes is not a kind place, and we lost a few games. We lost to Swindon twice that season I was fuming, but we got there in the end almost. Jerry still played in a better team than I did, so he keeps reminding me every time, well, you didn't finish joint top, did you? You know what I mean? Sorry, Joe.
Take us back to the famous 4-1 win against Man United at Old Trafford. Now the team.
I know what you're going to say.
I spoke to this about you a few years ago. But the team talk from Jerry.
I missed it.
Yeah, you were in the loo, weren't you?
Yeah.
So
it's an intimidating place. And
the toilet.
No, it was after. Yeah.
Depends who's in there, I suppose.
I said I'd leave it 10 minutes if I was you. No, it was. It's the first time I've actually been picked to play in a team at Old Trafford. And I got there and I knew I was playing, so. And my nerves sometimes can get the better of me, and I might need to go quite a lot. The lads used to joke and call me a seagull. Eat a bit and do a bit, you know what I mean? Oh, is that going to go through you? Yeah, go through me like a Porsche, lads. But he was trying to do his team talk, and I said, "Oh, mate, I can hear you, Joe, but I've got to stay in here." So anyway, we were 2-0 up before he'd even touched the ball.
Oh, amazing.
And when we were getting the ball out of the net for the second time, I said, "Lads, come on! Keep it away from me and we might win this." But it was, wow. Dennis Bailey that night, every single thing. Steve Bruce probably had the worst game I've ever seen him have because he normally could mark Les out of the game. Les was so quick, Steve always got in his way, and Dennis was on the night unbelievable, you know. So,
why is it? Sorry, Dave, why is it you always underplay your role in that QPR side that did so well? You always kind of say, "Well, I was surrounded by much better players, and they were better than me," and that because you weren't so bad yourself.
No, I was part of something that you need, of an ingredient that you need to actually be something. That squad, Jerry knew he didn't even promise me he'd play me. I just want you to rub off on this lot. I know how you train. I know how you are. I want your enthusiasm. I want you to believe that, you know, I was called, my favourite thing ever was Bristol Rovers labelled me in one of their fanzines as a epitome of a workaholic fighting cock. Now,
Jesus.
Now, what I'm saying to you, you should never do that with animals, but as an analogy, my dad told me that never ever give up. If you run out, never ever show your beat, never ever, you just keep going. And if you do lose, you've run out of time. That's why I was so hurt on the weekend. I want them to get off before we lost even worse. And I don't want them to feel that way again, so I can help them. Do you know what I mean? But that was what was... and when you're of that mindset, you can be honest. He told me to assess my skills and my skill set and use them to the max. And if you don't make it, son, let it be through lack of ability rather than lack of effort. But you will have a place in a team somewhere, in a really good place in a team somewhere, if you show those qualities that I know you have.
But you scored a goal against Man United. If the referee hadn't played till Sunday, possibly could have kept us up. That's what...
Newcastle?
No, Man U, when Cantona scored.
I didn't score. I took a tackle on the edge of the box and Danny Dicio scored.
Yeah.
I wish I scored.
No.
What you're talking about Newcastle away. I played with a broken toe, and I had to have it injected. And there was a crack in the toe, and the doctor told me you shouldn't do this. But my manager asked me, and he told me he needed me, and we lost. I scored, and it went quiet at Newcastle, and then Peter Pearcey scored 2. And the last one was a genius goal. He danced, and Les gave it away. I'll remind him, actually. He gave it away on our goal line. And he just went with them feet, bent it in the top corner. And to be fair, that was...
But going back to the game where Danny Dicio turned into you, and we scored against Man U, what was the mood like in the dressing room after that game? Because that was ridiculously late, wasn't it? I mean, there's no way that time was genuine.
The time wasn't genuine, but we should have still defended the cross. So it's our fault. My old thing. You have until the thing is finished. If you ask Andy Murray, how's he winning games now? Until it is done, he don't think about anything else now. He couldn't do that at first because his temperament, right? So it was our fault. The ball came in at the far post. We should have stopped the cross. We should have marked our men, and we should have edited that out, and we'd have won the game. And you know, at the end of the day, if you make excuses and you keep making excuses, you're never going to get anywhere. What you have to do is look why you lost and then sort it out, you know? And Birch, I love him to bits, right? But I had a row with him. Oh, we're a better team. I said, Birch, they scored 3, we got none. Yeah, but they were the better team. Oh, we were the better team all, because if that, I said, if. I love your unbelievably brilliant morale, but as a coach and as a manager like me, you have to be realistic as to what's just happened. How do I correct that to stop it happening again? It's very, very simple, right? And he'll get it. But his infectious enthusiasm is absolutely vital. Okay? And I'm never actually do myself down. I'm deep down at home are very pleased with what I've managed to achieve as a player on the field when I wasn't picked, even more so, right? Because I never questioned my manager. I always did what he wanted me to do. I would ask him, why am I left out? Oh, you need to do this, or he does that for you. And I was ready to go to work. And I went out and trained harder and better than anything.
Ollie, one of the happiest days of my growing up watching QPR was the 3-1 victory away to Sheffield Wednesday when we got promoted. And then the parade afterwards. What are your memories from that night?
I still remember it vividly. I remember that Bristol City's score came over the mic.
They flashed up the scoreboard.
Yeah, because Danny Wilson used to be their boss and they were trying to get us gone.
Dirty trick.
It was a disgusting trick. I remember the first goal, Kevin Gallen. I remember telling everybody to calm down. Remember half-time when I said we've done nothing yet. And you can't spend time looking over there and playing. You've got to do the process. We've got to just concentrate on ourselves. Right? And I said, we need the next goal. We got it. Right? Was it Rowley? I think Rowley got that one, didn't he? Or was it Furze got the third, I
I haven't
think.
said enough enough to dig you.
No, that's right. Well, all I remember is Tony Roberts, God bless him, right? As a player, no, God bless him. As a player, when I was here, he was different class as a person, you know. And he was my goalie coach then. And we had 30-odd seconds, and he's jumping around. We're 3-1 up, and I'm Sydney serious. And literally, watch was shaking, and he's gone, we done it. And I went, Tone, what are you on about? Just God. He went, Gaffer, we've done it. I said, we haven't yet. And he's given me a hug like that, nearly broke my neck. And the final whistle went. And then I felt like he did. But for some reason, I had them scoring 2 in the last 30 seconds. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Because when you want something so badly, sometimes you want it so much you push it away from you. So I was terrified of doing that.
See, I always thought, I'll swap trendy for another word, People's Club of West London. And Hillsborough proved that day. That was an amazing support, wasn't it? I mean, no other club could get the passion that we had at Hillsborough.
Yeah, and Clem, who came down the other day, he remembers I ran straight past him and went and saw my family over there, you know, and I said, oh, why not? For God's sake, mate, you know? That was the first time. Yeah, it was Woof Day. Every dog has their day, you know, and it meant that much to me because when I analysed what went wrong and Birch come off down at Plymouth and we were neck and neck, the first goal killed us and then they got a second and they done it. He said he wasn't concussed, right? He was. And I had to do it. But we got one throw-in wrong that day. And their throw-ins, they locked onto every single thing better than us, quicker than us. Every single thing better than us, quicker than us. So I took that into the last 2 games. I said, they're champions because they did this. Look. Right? So if we do that, we got not one throw-in did we get wrong. We pressed. Honestly, fantastic. We got a goal within a minute. Right? Because we started like a house on fire. And that's what you ask your team to do. And for me, my proudest moment was showing my medal that I won in the team talk, and I had QPR people there because I wanted them to understand and I wanted our boys to not bottle it and worry too much, and they stuck in the process from the start of the game to the end of the game, so their serve was bang on no matter what the score was. That's what you've got to try and achieve these days, and it's so difficult because of the media coverage, because if everything gets hammered, you're getting sacked in the morning, all the crowds are singing it now. It's so difficult to actually keep people completely focused on what their part is.
Which leads me on to the final question, because we have run out of time, but the question I wanted to ask you to finish on was, you've talked at length about what you're going to require from the players and what structure you want to put in place at the club. You're here tonight with a number of fans groups, as I've mentioned before. What, as the sort of final question in this podcast, what do you need from us? What do you need from the fans to make this work and to achieve the things that you have talked about?
I want you to bring every ounce of why you're a QPR supporter with you every time you come here. I want you to remember the fact that we almost had to join a cave with someone else. And I want you to remember it. If we wouldn't have got that Gianni Palladini money from wherever it came from, right? Where would we be now? So what you see out there, if they're not managing to produce enough to give you what you want, don't moan at them. I want to hear you sing and shout about how proud you are of them and make them brave enough to go and do it again. I want this place to be so anti everybody else bar us that I believe we could shine then with the group of lads we've got. And if we are dropping a bit deep, I want you to still cheer and keep going and not go quiet. Right? They need you to believe in them so I can get them further up the pitch rather than trying to protect something so I can get them to concentrate on what, because we've had a few bad times here. Do you know what I mean? And I don't want that. I want that energy to come back. And for me, you have got that. And you need to give that to all your players, whether you actually rate them or not, because they belong to us. Wherever they're here, whoever brought them, I don't care. They're my boy, and I want to help my boy improve. And if you gave me your son, I would treat him that way with the utmost respect. And I want you to remember that. So if you haven't got what you want, don't bring your belly ache in here. Right? Try and shout out for the one you do like, even if the one you don't like, don't help, because I want to try and help them. If that makes sense. You helped us in the end. We were in what is the Premier League, and we got to a good place because you were all excited about how it was. We were in a right upspin then, right? So I just want you to love your club like you always have, and that'll help me get these lads to do that and shine for you. And I don't care where they've come from. I don't care what they've done. I want to help them learn how to win.
Seems like a good place to end for us. Thank you very much for an absolutely fascinating hour. I think apart from anything else, there's definitely a management book in you, because just some of the things that you're coming out, you're talking through are kind of definitely, from my point of view, I've never thought about before, and I think as a fan, for sure, the players are in good hands. So thank you very much. Paul, yes?
One thing, sorry to do this to you, but I want to thank you on behalf of someone who's no longer here, to thank you. And what you've done for Daphne Biggs on her passing was amazing. And so much respect for you that day. And the way Steve Palmer spoke and everything else, was thank you so much from her behalf.
QPR people, mate. Do I need to say more?
No. Ian Holloway, Ollie, thank you very, very much. Come on, you Oz.
QPR, Chris Charles Rangers are on the up and up. QPR,